About 2,000 kilometers off the eastern coast of Australia, there's an island chain known as Vanuatu. Those of you that live in Australia or the United States might recall that this was the setting for the Survivor series back a few years ago. But what Vanuatu is actually most famous for is as a holiday destination for tourists. It's got some of the best scuba diving in the South Pacific. Vanuatu also has got a pretty interesting history. Being so far removed from all the major continents in the world, the inhabitants were relatively isolated from a lot of the changes that occurred in the Industrial Revolution and a lot of the new technologies and manufacturing things that occurred. So when war broke out in the South Pacific in the early 20th century and American and British forces landed on the island, the native inhabitants were just in awe of things like tanks and radios and planes. And in fact, they thought these were gifts that were given to these Westerners by the gods. And so when the military forces left, the natives didn't know how to get these sort of things. So they started to form what they called cargo cults. And they'd build life-size replicas of things like planes and control towers and landing strips, all trying to get the attention of some special deity, which they thought would bestow upon them these same technological marvels that the Westerners had. They would march in formation, much like American military troops, but instead of carrying rifles, they'd carry sticks, trying to emulate their behavior, thinking that they would somehow be rewarded. These conditions with the cargo cults actually carry on today, and if you visit Vanuatu, you wouldn't be surprised to see folks building these types of replicas again. Of course, today, they're doing a little more modern technological marvels. You might see someone standing there with a wooden version of a cell phone, looking up in the sky, hoping that something's going to drop down on them. Now, a lot of people think it's 2014, these cargo cults are really outdated. What a crazy concept. But there's a group of entrepreneurs in Sydney, Australia that actually think that this is a great idea. They work for a company called Zookle. Zookle was formed a few years ago to try to make the lives of university students a lot easier by delivering them textbooks and letting them rent them instead of buying them. So they'll deliver free anywhere to New South Wales, and once you're done with the textbook, you can actually return it to any post office throughout Australia, and they'll return it for free. Now, last year, Zookle, though, decided that they're really tired of driving these trucks around Sydney and the other parts of Australia, and they decided to go out and buy 6 drones, or unmanned aerial vehicles, that they plan to, next year, have deliver textbooks. So imagine you're a university student, and you need to get your textbook for your physics class. You take out your phone, you key a few things in, and you wait 5 minutes to look up in the sky, and some robot comes and delivers cargo down to you, just like the cargo cults of Vanuatu thought that they would be able to do.